So we'd like to settle yourself now for some meditation. And make sure you're comfortable enough to be able to sit for a long, long time without having to move around too much. Close your eyes very gently, as softly as you can. And as usual, we can take a few good deep breaths to ourselves, slowly and smoothly. We breathe intentionally deep, with the intention to relax the mind as well as the body. And we breathe not only for relaxation, but also to bring the awareness gently back to our body, allowing our breath to become softer as we relax. So we adopt a comfortable position for ourselves, but still with our back fairly straight and our neck upright. Sometimes we assume our body is relaxed, but when we come to check, we find there are still places where tension seems to linger on. So we take a few moments to examine every single part of our body to make sure there's no remaining tension that's going to encroach on our little bubble of relaxation. We relax our shoulders. From there we continue by relaxing our arms, down to our hands and our fingers. We relax our torso and legs, all the way down to our feet and our toes. And we'll find that if we can manage to get the body to loosen up, then our mind will loosen up as well. But as we turn to the relaxation of the mind, we have to accept that there are many signs that we need meditation. And most of them are to do with calming the mind. It may be because you're anxious about the past, or because you worry about the future. You may feel guilty when you're not busy, or you may still be trying to multitask in spite of all the mistakes you're making. You might be worried about good experiences coming to an end, or you might simply want to live life more mindfully. But whatever your motivation is for practicing meditation, from here on in, we are going to let go of anything still on our mind, no matter how noble the intention. So we let go of absolutely everything we can, imagining our mind is slowing down, becoming softer, even if it is not yet quite still. And with the awareness within the body, putting aside any worries or concerns in the mind, while conjuring up a sense of happiness and joy to set the scene for the meditation ahead. And at this point we can imagine that inside our body is just an empty space. And within the space of the body in our mind's eye, You might conjure up a picture of the sun shining. In order to come to our center, we just reach with our awareness, nuzzling and nestling up against the feeling inside the body center. So we allow our awareness to gravitate down towards the abdomen, not rushing, but just reaching with the awareness toward the center of the body, which is like a point of reference or an anchor for the mind, that from now on will help to prevent the mind from wandering as much. So the imagined sun at our center might be shining bright like a spotlight or a bright sphere, or it might be vaguer than that. At first, the imaginary sun might be more of a feeling of bright light. We may feel the bright ball of light rather than seeing it. But whatever form the object takes, we stay with it, graciously accepting any form it may take. And in the meantime, our awareness continues to nuzzle and nestle up against the center of the sun. And in practice, we observe the object as if we were inside the object rather than looking down from on top of it. We accept it as it is, while bearing in mind the success factors that tell us how best to observe, sometimes known for short as the 4 C's: concentration and comfort in balance, consistency, and checking afterwards to confirm we are on the right track. We remain with this bright inner light that we have uncritically. For now we can suspend judgment, allowing the awareness to remain unperturbed at our center. The longer the mind has an unbroken connection with the center, the more we can connect with a profound state of peace. If our mind slips outside the bright center, then that sense of peace will diminish. But in the meantime, we keep bringing our awareness back whenever it is distracted, allowing the mind to merge closer and closer with that inner illumination. If the mind wanders, we check in again with where the mind is. Bringing it back again to the center or to the middle of the bright light if necessary. And in the meantime, we keep the mind neutral and free of questions or commentary. If any new experience arises, we notice it and no more. We just accept the experience as it is. We maintain an observant mind that just accepts what the experience is, without any need to find an explanation for everything. We just observe and accept. And if we have thoughts arising in the mind, we do our best to ignore them, or at least not to elaborate on them. Unless you're one of those people who has so many thoughts that it's impossible to avoid getting entangled in them, in which case you may need to make use of the traditional mantra, hearing the sound of the words Samma Arahang, Samma Arahang, Samma Arahang, repeated over and over in the mind, so the actual source of the words is down there also at the center of the body, along with the inner object. Samma Arahang, Samma Arahang, Samma Arahang, lightly, gently, and continuously, and with a special lightness of touch, maintaining our inner object, whether it's something we see or something we feel, or is at the center of whatever is there. Even if it's darkness, we can be at the center of it. But the important thing is the lightness of touch. So in this way we continue to maintain our attention on track at the center of the body, each to our own practice for a few more moments now in silence, until we come to the appropriate time. Keep our mind in stillness at the center of the body. And as our mind settles more and more, we start to notice a lighter feeling inside us. Feeling light is an indicator that a special sort of energy in the mind is continuing to accumulate more and more. And this peaceful energy, unlike solid matter, has no weight at all. And the more of such energy we can manage to accumulate in the mind, the more transparent and weightless our bodies will start to feel. So as we meditate more, little by little, even without intending it, we begin to feel as if we're becoming lighter, as if that energy lightens up our being, leaving us with a sense of transparency that extends throughout our body, connecting even beyond the limits of our body and expanding outwards. But in spite of the novelty of the experience, we continue to maintain our mind free of any questions or commentary. We don't encourage a skittish mind, because the mind that jumps from one thing to another will be unable to connect fully with that peaceful energy. But instead we remain at the soft nucleus of that inner experience as we continue our meditation for a few more moments in silence. Continue to connect with the positive feeling inside the mind as it gradually slows down to touch the center space. As time goes on, it will become increasingly natural for the mind to remain motionless at the center, immersed in the peace energy that is found there. As the mind slows down, it will become easier for us to get in touch with that peace energy. And each time our awareness touches gently at the center, it's as if that peace energy will start to flow, pervading us with a tide of clarity and peace that continues to feed into our meditation. Of course, these subtle changes in the mind are not yet awakening or enlightenment, but yet the way the peace energy is gradually accumulated will pave the way for us towards transcendental attainment. Without such energy, it's very hard for us to go any deeper or further in our meditation. That's why we need to remain present in the moment, allowing ourselves to be filled to the brim with this peace energy. And in the meantime, we bide our time as the mind gradually fills up, a process that may require our patience. In the meantime, we rest the mind motionlessly in order to connect with that stream of inner energy. Of course, we know that this special energy in the mind has several transformative effects. The way it cleanses the mind of the impurities, the way it raises the quality of the mind, the way it attracts happiness, the way it stabilizes the mind while making the mind more flexible and radiant, the way it increases the potential of the mind, allowing us to take better decisions, the way it allows us to have more insightful analysis and helps our thinking to become more thorough and comprehensive. But for all of these benefits, we need to allow the peace energy to kick in first of all. If we try to get ahead of ourselves when we don't have enough of that peace energy, then we won't get too far. So we remain at the center for a moment, absorbing the peace energy with the mind at a standstill. Before long, that sense of lightness will gradually arise within us. There are some people who might dismiss that peace energy as a sort of mental distraction. But at the beginning stages of our meditation, it's something that should never be underestimated. Whether it be the groundwork of finding the center within ourselves, balancing body and mind, realizing the limitations of our physical existence, sparking joy in life, or sharing that joy with others. All of these stages of the practice, apart from being a pleasure in and of themselves, are also paving the way through the accumulation of peace energy towards the higher transcendental attainments. So without losing or abandoning that sense of comfort and well-being that we've already built up for ourselves in meditation, we continue to maintain our peace energy as continuously as we can, for as long as we can. It's one of the many paradoxes that surrounds the art of meditation, like the gateless gate or non-duality, or Zen koans like that of the one hand clapping. And no less confusing is the concept of benefiting from peace energy without it being something that we can own. It's also a paradox to gain benefit when the benefit is no longer personal or egotistical. Because from its roots in the feel-good peace energy, the meditation will start to leave a permanent transformation in the way you see the world. And even as that peace energy keeps on running through the mind, it allows us to see through the delusions, especially concerning those of our self or our ego, giving us a greater potential to be in the present, and leaving us with more inspiration to do the greater things in our lives. The more peace energy that we have built up for ourselves, the greater will be the scope that we have for compassion, love, creativity, lightness, harmony, and joy, rather than being stuck in a web of delusion. So with peace energy in our meditation, that we gradually accumulate more and more, the greater, more subtle qualities of mind will become more accessible to us. So fully realizing now how this peace energy can pave the way towards higher attainments in our meditation, continue to focus our mind lightly and gently in this way, just for a few more moments now in silence, until we come to the appropriate time.